Hey guys, we are live. I'm Jeff here with eBay Addicts, and today I have you guys a brand new guest. I have a man, the educated hustler is here. Brandon, how are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed and stressed, but I will not complain. I'm blessed and stressed. You know how it goes, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for coming on
Awesome.
and hanging out with us today. I've been following you for a while, and
Okay.
I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and talk to us. So,
Yes,
real
sir.
briefly, in case people don't know who you are, kind of introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and tell them a little bit about what it is you do.
All right. So my name is Brandon Jones. I go by Educated Hustler online, and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I teach people how to resell. I also resell myself. I have cell phone stores in Philadelphia, of course, and one of my specialties is phone flipping. So I love to flip phones, and I also love to flip any type of electronic that I can get my hand on obviously. And I take pride in that. So I'm just somebody that is trying to pass along the information that I found.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy it. You know, I found my love. It took a long time, but I found my love.
All right, I'm with it, man. See, this is why I wanted to have you on because you have this hustler spirit, this hustler energy. You always seem to be positive, have positive vibes, and you always have this positive energy. It could be raining
Thank you.
everywhere else, but there's like an umbrella over where you're at. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you.
today, not only are you a reseller and you resell like on Macari and eBay and Amazon,
Yeah.
but you have your own brick and mortar business as well. And
Yes.
so, first of all, I kind of wanted to get into your backstory. How did you get into this resale game? And what were you doing before you became a reseller? Because that's essentially your full time job now is
Yeah.
reselling, right?
Yes. So my full-time job right now is honestly reselling, also helping others. I try to take pride in helping others better themselves. That's what I was told was a true leader, and I think that changed my life when someone told me that.
Right.
Before I started reselling anything, I was just a kid in high school that honestly didn't have the best grades. I played basketball. That's all I wanted to do. And the way I think I could say I got started and learned the grind and the hustle was being told no over and over again when I knew that the answer was yes, right? I wanted to be an entrepreneur from the beginning of time. Like I cannot remember when they asked me, what did you want to be when you grow up? And I say a fireman or a detective. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Um, and my mother in my family, we've had striving entrepreneurs that tried but failed. So my mother sort of kind of projected that on me and was like, "No, go to college. You have to go to college." And she beat that down into me to where I thought that not going to college would lead to my demise, to be honest.
Yeah.
But still, I was true within myself, and I understood that I have one life, right? One life, one chance. So I was just going to take it, and I actually moved out the day I graduated from high school and took a bet on myself and never looked back. Never looked back.
I like that. I like that. Bet on yourself. You know, if you bet on
Yes.
yourself, you can't lose. And bet
Yeah.
on education. And the thing is, your education may not be in a university. Your education may be through trial
Yes.
and error and trying to invent the light bulb 1,000 times and it only works one out of 1,000. And that's kind
Exactly, Jeff. Exactly.
of the way it works. So
Exactly.
hey, so tell people. So you got out of high school, you
Yeah.
went to college, you found out maybe this whole college thing wasn't for you. So how did you kind of get into this resale game? Did you
So
start off like at a thrift store or yard sales? Kind of tell people how you got into this game.
So Jeff, believe it or not, I didn't go to college. So what I did, right? So I'll never forget this. Me and my mom, I was a kid that I was a kid that was very rebellious. I would tell you that. Like if you told me to go right, but I wanted to go left, I was going left. There was no way you could tell me what I should do. And my mom told me, she said, Brandon, if you keep going this way, you're not gonna graduate high school. I graduated high school. When I graduated high school, uh, I ended up just literally saying, "Love you, mom. I gotta get my space. I gotta like control my life." And I left New Jersey and moved to Philadelphia. And when I moved to Philadelphia, I was a part of a company called Wake Up Now, which is a multi-level marketing company. And I was doing presentations in my grandmother's living room for about 3 months, just like trying to get people to join my team and trying to just persuade people that, hey, we're about to take off. And it was good. I made some good money doing that. But one day, a Sprint owner, so an owner of a third-party store, came in, and he heard about me, and he was like, I just need to see your presentation. So he came in to see my presentation, and then he said, hey, listen, after the presentation, he pulled me to the side. He said, hey, I want to see if we can work together. And I said, what are we going to work together for? You have phones, you know, and I'm just honestly trying to get him to sign up, right? And he's like, well, I want you to provide my Sprint service to everybody on your team, because I had a massive team. So he wanted to basically watch each other's back, right? So he wanted to make money, and in return, he's helping me, because now everybody's cell phone bill is cheap, and now I can say, hey, join my team, get a free phone or a cheap cell phone bill. So the business in me was like, yeah, I'll do it. And what happened was, long story short, I ended up working with him, and he saw that I was getting people signed up left and right. And at this time, he said, hey, Brandon, it's $50, unlimited everything, but I need you to sell the phone with it. I was selling these phones like hotcakes. Then I started to realize to myself, I like this. Like, I like overriding objections, like you telling me no, and then me saying, oh, I completely understand. All that it is I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do that, and just feeding into people and pouring into people and seeing them convert, but also seeing them succeed, right? So what happened was, he was like, yo, Brandon, I actually want you to work with me, like, in my store. So I worked with him in the store, and that's when I started to learn about accessories like these and different, like, where to get the stuff that Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, and I started to learn the game. Then I started to learn that, unfortunately, you have some people in life that want to keep you under them. And I'll never forget this. I made this guy around $100,000 in less than 6 months from what he told me. And he was like, Brandon, you're helping me pay my mortgage and for my properties. And you want to know, I looked at myself and said, Jeff, I said, well, I got a car that, you know, I don't necessarily like. I'm living with my grandmother. Why don't I have any of this? So then I started to think, am I dimming my light to let somebody else's be brighter? So long story short, I ended up just mimicking what he taught me, being a student of the game, understanding, hey, okay, this is how you have a team. This is how you have a store. This is what you do with inventory. This is how you get products. This is how you source buyers. Because again, when I got those phones and I sold them, it was his money. So he was getting 90% and he was paying me under the table around 10%. And I ended up learning and getting his the people that he was working with, his connects, and they ended up reaching out to me, and we ended up working together. And I ended up flipping phones because I told him one day, hey, listen, I respect what you're doing today and at this time, but it's sort of kind of not helping me grow. So I'm going to go and start my own company. And I started my company, The Connect. And that's where I started my cell phone store. Then I ain't have no phones to sell, because now I'm not with Sprint anymore. I'm not with this guy. So I hit Offer Up. I hit eBay up. I started to try to figure it out. Jeff, I lost my first 2 stores because I didn't know how to handle profit. I didn't know how to handle partnerships. I didn't know how to do any of that. People scammed me. People did just devious things to me. And I just learned from them. And I learned how to just flip, because if you know how to flip your money, you'll never go broke. Never. It's a skill that's this point. And really,
I'm with it. Well, first thing I wanted to say is that, you know, I know there's an old saying that people want you to do well, but it's not better than them. So they want you to work as long as you're following under their little branch tree. They want you to do well, but they just don't want you to do better than them. So it's great that you try to take your learning experiences in life from one area and then kind of transition into another area.
Yes.
So and because it's like the skills that you have from one thing to another is transferable. You know, you have to think, if you're working a job somewhere and that job's paying you $20 an hour, they're probably making $50 or $100 an hour to keep you on the payroll. I
Yes.
was working in this factory, and they were building bombs for the military, and then they were paying
Mm.
us 20, $25 an hour. But then they were billing the government $100 an hour for having us work on that project. So they didn't care. They would let you work as much overtime as you want, because you might have made your little $20 an hour or $25 an hour and put it in the computer and said, okay, I made $1,000 this week. But they
Yes.
went rubber stamped it and said, okay, well, we went ahead and billed the government $100 an hour for you doing that job. And
Yes.
then they profit in the 75, and you get in the 2025. So
Yes.
that's how it works. So let's talk a little bit more about this resale game with cell phones. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in this business. You got the cell phones, but what is it that you're looking for? Let's say hypothetically, you posted an ad on Facebook or Craigslist or OfferUp, and you said, hey, I'm looking to buy phones. And I called you up and said, hey, I want to sell you this phone. I have an old 2019 phone. Maybe the screen is cracked. The battery doesn't hold a charge. I just upgraded and bought a new phone. I have this old
Yeah.
phone laying around I need to get rid of. So knowing you have a little cheat sheet, a little price sheet. So when I
Yeah.
call you and say, hey, I have this phone I want to sell you, you have private buyers already lined up. So when you buy the phone, you
Yeah.
have a little cheat sheet, and the cheat sheet might say, hey, hey, I know I can buy this phone from Jeff. Give him $40, and I know I could turn around and resell it for $200.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. So
You already have people lined up, right?
yeah. So okay. So when I started phone flipping, right?
Yeah.
So when I had my business, you gotta so what I had to understand when I first had my first store, there was nothing they can tell me, Jeff. I will tell you this, Jeff. I was around 19, 20 years old, and I think that I probably was one of the worst human beings possible. Let me tell you why, Jeff. Because when you give that power to a young man that wasn't told he could do, you want to know what that builds? It builds like some type of arrogance. I'm here, right? So when I first started, I was very arrogant, and you couldn't tell me nothing, and that's why uh, I don't know who you guys that are viewing who you believe in, right? But God, right? God, he taught me so many lessons by having me lose so much. I lost my car, lost my stores, lost my employees. And what happened was it got to the point to where it was just me. And I had to build revenue for one of my stores so I didn't lose them. So I was like, you know what? Accessories are cool, but what if I compare them with phones? So what I said was, okay, I need to go. I have a whole bunch of money. I know how it feels to wake up, guys, and have money and not know what to spend it on, right? Because that's what everybody thinks. Money is so important. It's not. The most important thing in this world is time. Let me tell you, right? I was putting money above time. So I had all this money, didn't know what to do with it. So what I did was I said, I'm going to hit offer up. And I didn't do no ads, Jeff. Let me tell you why. Because my theory was if I'm going to pay for an ad and that ad was going to go next to Philly Wireless, let's say, a big company in Philly, they're going to beat me every single time, Jeff. Not only that, I can't handle that because I don't have the manpower because I was being a butthole to all of my employees, Jeff. And I had to stand on my own, and I had to go out and buy, go out, almost get robbed. I don't know if y'all heard about Kensington. Kensington's a dangerous place in Philly, right? I had to go out to these places. I had to suffer. But I started to buy these phones. And I'm like, what do I do? Now I got the phones. What do I do? I ended up finding a buyer just by going on OfferUp and buying a phone. And he gave me a price list. So that is what Jeff is referring to as a price list, right? So he gave me a price list, but this price list was only to one person. It's one buyer. Okay.
Right.
And this one buyer gave me this list, and that list tells you, okay, for an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 15, let's say, for an iPhone 15, I'll pay you $500. So I called him. I said, hey, I got 5 iPhone 15s, and I want to sell them. And he said, okay, $500. Perfect. Right? Then, Jeff, the next week, I'm like, I got 5 iPhone 15s. I want to sell them. Price is $450. Okay. So next week, I got 5 more. Okay, price is $400. So now I'm like, wait. Okay. why is the price diminishing? This is giving me sort of kind of the same thing that I already escaped, right? Somebody trying to dim my light because they want more. So what I did was I said, you know what? I got to get back to networking, talking to people, being a better human being, and reflecting my light on people. I did. I ended up meeting people from China. I ended up traveling all around different states, California, just finding buyers. And I found 25 buyers internationally and 25 buyers in the States. And that's where every time somebody comes into my store and says, hey, I would like to sell this, I got all of these buyers to my disposal now. What I said was, I was doing YouTube, guys. I was very depressed. And I'm sorry, Jeff, for talking a lot, but
man, you got the floor. People here came to see you, bro. They see me every day. They come here to see you. Okay, go ahead.
But I was very depressed. Okay. Because again, remember, I put money over time. So I lost my family, I lost my friends, and I had to get it all back, right? And what I did was, guys, I got on YouTube. And I'll never forget, Jeff, my YouTube was a couples channel with me and my girlfriend. And I stopped doing that. And I just picked up the camera one day and I said, let me show them my store and let me just show them what I do. No views. But for some reason, I felt good. So then as I kept doing it, I said, okay, I see other people are flipping phones. I didn't know, Jeff, that people were flipping phones. Yeah. Like on a big, I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't. So what happened was I started getting people, and then I started to see people were having trouble finding buyers. And then that's when I created my phone flipping buyers price list, where it is a price list, but the price list is not full of prices telling you this is what I will pay you. Instead, the price list says an iPhone 15, its market value is $500. But what you do is you email us on the email on the price list, and you say, hey, I got an iPhone 15, Brandon. Okay. What we do is we then forward that to 25 buyers. And now the buyer in Virginia might say, hey, okay, the market value is 500. I'm only paying 500. But then I have another buyer competing against him saying, oh, a buyer from New York, I'll pay 520. Buyer from California, I'll pay 560. So you know what I did, Jeff? I took my pain and I understand how it made me feel. I understand how it diminished me, my character, diminished my fuel, right? And I put it, I made a solution and then put it out to the masses. And now a lot of people do use that buyer's price list to sell phones, and they get fair prices. Now that is really something I take pride in, is doing things the right way, having integrity, and understanding that, hey, Jeff, we could charge people for the knowledge we know. We could charge people 500, 1,000, 2,000, right, for mentorships. But let me tell you something. If I charge you for a mentorship $2,000, what am I really going to pour into you that's worth that much? Now, I know my knowledge is good, but if I take $2,000 from you, isn't that $2,000 you could be using to flip phones? Right? Isn't that, you know what I mean?
I'm with you, bro. I've had one-on-one coaching with people before, and I was like, look, man, I could be hanging out at the pool. I could be at the beach. I could be going out to dinner with my girlfriend, but instead I'm taking an hour out of my day to meet you at a coffee house to do one-on-one coaching for like $200 an hour. But I'm like, I can't guarantee you the results. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I can give you the blueprint, but the hustle is sold separately. It's like when you go to the store, you buy one of those little toys and you got to put batteries in the toys. I can give you the toy, but I can't. Your energy is the battery. If you don't go and work the game and work the system, it's not going to work for you. I was watching a video today, and this guy was talking about all these people that help all these New Year's resolutions, and they said, well, that's great, but if you don't have discipline, none of this New Year's resolution stuff's going to work. You go in the gym and getting in shape and all this, that's not going to work because you have to have discipline behind it.
You have to have discipline, and this is something we all sleep on, Jeff. You have to have discipline, but also execution. You want to know something, Jeff? A lot of people, they have discipline. Let me tell you why. Because every day they wake up, they scroll on social media, right? Every day they wake up, they clock into that 9 to 5. But see, do you have that discipline that you put to do things that are easy towards the things that may be hard, and you may view and see, oh, well, I might actually fail at this. So, you know what I mean? So people can execute that stuff, Jeff, but it's about what are you willing to put your execution towards, and what are you willing to sacrifice? right?
Right.
So everybody watching this, what I want you to ask yourself, right, is okay. Everybody has a goal. Everybody has a goal. It's everybody. I personally believe that everybody in life feels as though they are special in some type of way, right? Because everybody is in some type of way. Now, everybody feels as if they deserve something. Where my generation, Jeff, is so we feel so like we just have to have it because it's supposed to be given to us, right? But here's the thing: what are you willing to sacrifice? I sacrificed time for my family. I sacrificed money. I sacrificed tears. I sacrificed hitting rock bottom. I sacrificed looking like an idiot. I sacrificed lowering my lifestyle.
With
And you sacrifice that stuff because guess what? You see the bigger picture. But you gotta have, like you said, discipline, execution, sacrifice. So
right.
important. So
I'm
important.
with I wanted to talk about briefly because what I sell a lot of items on eBay, and what you
Yeah.
do reselling phones is similar because when I pull up let's say I scan this item here. Let's just say I had this item here and I found this at a yard sale and they wanted $1 for it at the yard sale. Well, I
Okay.
can here scan the barcode, look up the sold the past 90 days, and say, hey, this little flamingo
Mhm.
guy is selling on eBay for 20 bucks, and 5 of them sold in the last 90 days for 20 bucks, and I could pick it up at the yard sale for $1. What
Yeah.
you're doing is very similar because you already have your sold list where you already have a buyer's list of people that want to come buy your phone
Yeah.
off. So before anyone calls you or comes to your store or contacts you, you already have a buyer's list of people lining up. The only difference is I'm waiting the 90 days for my item to sell. You don't have to do that. You already have a buyer's list lined up. So when I walk in there and I hand you this phone, and
Yeah.
let's say you get me $50 for this phone, and maybe you could turn around and resell it for $300, just an illustration, you
Yeah.
already have the money basically going to be wired to you like the next day. You're not waiting 90 days for that item to sell,
You're,
right?
you're not waiting 90 days for the item to sell. You have options. So this is what I tell people, right? The beautiful thing um is think about this, Jeff, right? So with that beautiful flamingo that you put up, right? Here's the
Yeah,
thing. You have options with that, right? Just like I have options with this. So
right.
I could either let's just say I'm gonna use a phone for example. I have this Galaxy. So I can either sell this to a buyer or Jeff, if I put my time over money
Mm-hmm.
or my money over time, I can literally sell this device two different ways. I can sell to a consumer, I can sell to a buyer. Buyers are not going to give you the most money because buyers go by market value. So what buyers do is they go by, okay, what is this device selling for in stores? How many people are buying it? And overseas, what can I get profit for it, right? But a consumer, Jeff, you might, like you said, you might have a phone and you might need to upgrade. And you might be like, Brandon, that phone looks mighty nice. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. What do you want for it? I'll take 600.
Right.
Buyer's paying me 450. But I can tell you 600. And if you really want that phone, you'll pay that. So the turnaround time with flipping phones, to be completely honest with you guys, is depending on one, what you have, what material you have at your disposal, what network you have, right?
Right.
So you have buyers, but also what are you willing, like, if are you willing to sell it to a consumer? Are you willing to list it on eBay? Are you willing to list it on Swappa? Are you willing to list it on OfferUp? So it's different ways to sell these devices. A buyer is just going to be the fastest, but you're not going to make the most money.
Okay, now I've heard from other people that flip phones. They say on average that every time they buy and resell a phone, they're looking to make at least $100 profit margin every time they buy and flip a phone. So is that your price range that you look for, or you specifically, what is it that you're looking for in your head where you say, hey, I'm going to go and buy this phone and flip it? What kind of profit margin are you looking at?
Jeff, you know, on my videos, Jeff, I go on rants. And I go on rants because when I started phone flipping, a lot of phone flippers that were making videos tried to they tried to I guess they saw competition. So they tried to like throw shots at me and say things. And that made me pay attention to their videos and their schemes and their systems more, right? And I'll tell everybody out there listening, right? Flipping phones, you don't need a course. You don't need a price list. Because you can find your own price list. Like you'll always hear 100% truth from me, right? Because I already just lied to, right? You don't need nobody to give you a price list. You don't need nobody. Understand that. But if you do want to expedite your process, your learning curve, you can use those, right? But the problem is, Jeff, a lot of these people that are flipping phones, they aren't flipping them on a massive scale. And they also are not being completely transparent and honest. No phone flipper is getting 100% profit, $100 profit on a consistent basis. Now you do get it, just like you may find an item and flip it and you come up, right? You're like, oh, this is a good one. But we all have a general profit that we're making, right? So the profit that I'm looking at is $60, $80. But the problem is a lot of consumers nowadays are viewing these phones as more valuable than what they are. So the people that actually are providing the phones to me that I'm buying them from, they're price gouging because a lot of people need money, right? So now, yeah, I look for like a $60 profit. I usually get more because again, I have a buyer's price list where they negotiate and bid against each other. So I usually get more. So it's $60 is.
I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but at your store, do you also repair cell phones as well? Or do
Yes.
you only just flip them and resell? So if I came to you and said, hey, my screen is cracked, I need to get it fixed, I could
Yeah.
come to your shop and you could fix it for me, right?
Yes. So we repair phones because it was a point in time where I couldn't get anybody to repair my phones and be honorable. So I learned how to do it myself and then to other people, and we fix phones, which gives us more leverage because now we can buy broken phones and then resell them. Yep.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to.
Sure.
But in a year, between you reselling on e-commerce and between your brick and mortar store location, how much money do you think that you make, not gross, but in profit in a year from flipping phones? Because I don't want to give people unrealistic expectations, but I don't want to kind of just, you can give them like a ballpark estimation.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while. This isn't like your first, walk around the park, right?
Yeah, it's not my first walk around the park. I'll say that it differs. Each year is different. Each year is different slow times. But what I will say is, uh, if you do this consistently, have a system and follow the right behaviors. Now, my results are going to be a bit different because of the brick and mortar. Because a lot of people don't have that leverage, which I'm just blessed to have that currently. But you're looking at profit wise $90,000. But as an individual, okay, I can go back to when I was an individual, didn't have any like support or any place for people to go. I was making around maybe $5,000, sometimes a little less. But $5,000 was cool. But like you just said, people have different results, right? And previous in this conversation, you said people have different hustles. To make $5,000 from phone flipping profit, that has to be your life, right? That has to be your life. And you have to have a lot of money to start out with. The average person that I'm seeing now, like my clients, I'm seeing them make around 2,500 to 3,000 a month. And they're happy with that because this is not, I repeat, phone flipping is not a main income stream. Because the only way it could be a main income stream is if you outsource, if you hire other people in other states to work for you. I teach people how to do that too. But you got phone flippers out here that are acting like they got a whole pile of phones and they're in the back of an AT&T store. You got phone flippers out here that have flipped one or two phones and they're saying they flipping phones on eBay. You want to know a secret, everybody? Flipping phones on eBay is the fastest way for you to lose your money because you got eBay fees. We all know that eBay is great, but they side with the buyer way more than the seller. Let's just be honest. And when you have an expensive phone that you're paying $600, $700 for, you can't take that loss. Okay. So in order for you to start to make money phone flipping, master the craft and be okay with the small gains, the journey, right? Because you don't know where it's going to take you. So just like I didn't know where Wake Up Now would take me, right? So you don't know. Phone flipping might not be for you. You might find another connection. So I would say
I got one more question I got to ask you real quick, real briefly. So the title of this video is how to make $500 in a day phone flipping. Is this reasonable? Is this clickbait? Is this something that anybody can do if they're willing to put a little bit of work, elbow grease into it? Because I don't want people to click on one of my videos and say, Jeff, you're clickbaiting. He didn't say one thing about how he made $500 in a day reselling phones. Clickbait, thumbs down. Let's talk about that briefly.
Can you make $500 a day phone flipping? Absolutely. You can make $1,000 phone flipping. Phone flipping, again, like I said, remember this. Phone flipping isn't hard. So think about it like this. When you're reselling on eBay, you get products. Prime example, for me on eBay, it's so much easier than it would be for somebody that is going to thrift stores or somebody that is actually searching for products, because I have a main distribution source that I'm just literally, hey, I need 2,500 Apple Watch chargers, vice versa. Oh, I got to go and look, and I'm trying to find deals, right? So I have an upper hand. So like, we have to really understand that to make that 500, which is a small amount, you can make 500 a day. That is not clickbait. That is definitely possible. But you have to also know to have the right network, the right surroundings, talk to the right people. If you want to flip phones, you need to be talking to phone flippers, right? I'm not talking about watching. That's where people get it different, right? Prime example, Jeff, right? I had a guy. He said, and this is recent, he called me, hey, man, I got like 18 phone flipping courses, and he paid for this call. He paid $70 for a call with me. And what I do is I take my time on the call. Like, I want to make sure you're good. So I don't really like look at the time. Oh, you booked the hour. Cool. Like, no, I want to make sure you're satisfied. Right. So he's like, okay. After the call, he's like, should I buy your course? I'm like, dude, you just said you like brought like 18 courses. And he was like, yeah, but I'm trying to build this into a brand and a big business. And I said, that's the problem, bro. You think that you need a course, but you don't. What you need is a connection. So I want to tell everybody watching, right, Jeff? Everybody that's going out there buying courses, please do not buy a course if it doesn't come with a connection. Because what I've realized is a lot of people buy courses, get information, but don't know how to utilize it. You need a connection. You need a person that's going to be like, all right, listen, this is a community full of these phone flippers. You got questions, concerns, new things happen, right? So you want to be updated, then this is the place to go. So if you want to make $500 phone flipping, just get into the right environment. Don't really focus on, oh, I just need to get the newest course. No. Course, no.
So, Brandon, I try to keep my video right around 30 minutes, and we're right around that time range. So tell everybody where they can find you at on YouTube and Instagram, so they come by and check you out and give you a follow.
Yes.
I think it's if you just put a little bit more hustle into it, you just hit 9,000 subscribers, and I think sometime this summer you're going to hit 10,000, and then your channel is going to take off. Like, I'm the people that, like, believe me, I'm one of the people that believe in you, bro. So tell me where they can find you out on YouTube and Instagram. They come by and check you out. And then tell them about, I have your link down below if they want to check out your course. I think it's like $100 or something.
Yeah.
If you want to get started, you're not charging people an arm and a leg to learn how to flip phones. You're just trying to transfer your knowledge that you've had years of experience into something that's very simple and easy to learn, right?
Yes. So you guys can follow me on Instagram, educated__hustler, and you can also follow me on YouTube at Educated Hustler. So you just type in Educated Hustler. And as far as my course comes with a connection, right? So what my course does is after you're done taking a course, you actually get a 30-minute call with me. And in that 30-minute call, I'm literally updating you on things that might be new today. And after, I'm pointing you to the Discord, and I'm pointing you to like different resources, because let's face it, I can't help everybody, right? But here's the thing. I've taught people, and then those people are helping me teach other people. So it's a community. And honestly, guys, I'm just a regular person that gets joy out of helping others become better. So listen, that's just me in a nutshell. It's just, I just want to project, because my payment, Jeff, is making others better. Because when you make other people better, guess what? What do? They brag about you. They have a walk about them, and they protect you, So yeah, that's what I love.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna leave it like this, guys. If you could spend $100 investment, and he's telling you he can help you make another $2,000 to $3,000 a month in profit, To me, that's a pretty good rate of return on your investment. So let's say you made $3,000 a month in profit times 12 months. That's $36,000 a year that you
Yep.
would have a potential profit margin off of a one-time $100 investment. And also, he has a community of people there to help you in a Discord to answer your questions, to
Yep.
get you started and get you in the right direction. I'm not an expert on phone flipping because there's so many things that you have to know about it. The EMI checker, you have to know about the power button, the volume button, the speakers. You have to make sure all this stuff works. You can't just willy-nilly buy something. It could be blacklisted. There's so many
Yep.
different things that you have to know. You can, that you don't know if it's stolen. You don't know if it was somebody dropped it in the swimming pool. Someone ran it over with a semi truck. You don't know.
Yep.
So there's a learning curve to this. So, anyways, if you want to go follow our guests, all the links are going to be down below for YouTube and Instagram. I've been following our guests for a while, so I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me.
This is all he does. This is his full-time gig. As he does is reselling phones. And if
Yep.
you go check him out, he actually has a brick and mortar location in his city where he lives in, and all
Yep.
he does is buy and flip and sell phones. So I wouldn't bring on a guest that's just here to blow smoke up your butt. At least go by and check him out. Follow his channel. Check him out on Instagram. That's free. He has, I don't know, 1,200 videos free on his channel that he's
Yeah.
posted. So you can go
Yep.
check him out. All the links are going to be listed down below in the description. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Go follow our guests. Link's going to be down below. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Till next time,
Thank
you
you,
guys have a
guys.
great day. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.